Hey guys, this is the Villains the Man. I'm Evan the Great. This is JVD. Today we're here to give you an episode of Crossover Collision.
And today we are discussing DC's extremely confused origin and where he come from and who he is. Hawkman, warrior from Thanagar, against Marvel's master hunter and trapper, Spider-Man foe Kraven the Hunter. Now, as usual with our crossover collisions, we have a set locations for all of our fights, which take place in a city street, a city alley, city rooftops, sewers. If you can't tell, we really like fights in the city. The jungle, an open area, and possibly, depending on how the fights go and if it allows it, some hand-to-hand. So, with that being said, Evan the Great, we will start with the city streets.
Oh, so in the city streets, my other videos, and
before we start, make sure that you check all these characters out on Behind the Mask. Get an idea of what we're working with each character. Or we try to cut all the BS out for the character and get down to what their core is.
Yeah. And those videos are easily found with all the other characters.
Yes.
But to get down to our city fights, usually there's going to be people involved.
Like we say, city streets, kind of like Times Square. There's obviously, it's like crossroads in a city, you know, north and west, north and south, east and west, buildings everywhere, cars, some people, lights. I mean, a very active area.
And this would be where you always think of who is there, who's fighting each other, and will they use these to their advantage. Within this case, you have Kraven the Hunter, who's a hunter, and you have Hawkman, who is an aerial warrior.
Or Kraven probably sees him a hawk.
Or hawk. And guess what? I think in a city street like this, I think Kraven is going to have the advantage as far as using the people to his advantage. I mean, what else do you bait a bird with besides food? I mean, that's probably not going to work. But anyway.
Okay, so before you get
I
really
was joking
ridiculous
there.
Okay, so at 100 foot, would Hawkman start the fight in the air?
Yeah.
Like a good 10 foot off the ground.
I think he would come at him, but here's the thing.
I'm just saying, would he start the fight flat-footed or like hovering in the air?
I think he would come in the air.
Okay, because to me, like we had talked about with Hawkman, it's rare you see him on the ground fighting.
So knocking out all the laughing, I'm sorry about that, him baiting him out. But he would come in the air, and Kraven would be on the ground, but their senses and their smell and their hearing and all that, both of them they're enhanced.
Yeah.
I think this won't be your typical guy. I think that he would feel and sense this coming. I don't think he would get hit with the full blunt of that force. I think he would be able to dodge some of it, if not all of it.
He as in
Kraven.
Okay.
I think he would aerial assault him to begin with, and I think Kraven would have enough reactionary time to not take the full brunt of the force.
Really?
This is what I think would happen. And I think as long as he's in the air, after the first strike, Kraven knows he's there. And I think he would not be able to swing down and swoop at him, even going at speeds of great distance, because he would just watch him. He's too attentive. He's like a tiger and all the other animals in the forest. And I think that would take the advantage away from Hawkman. I think it all depends on how hard he can hit him with that first strike before he figured out how fast he is and he's like a bird. And then at that point, since you're out in the open, even though you're in the street, Kraven knows the human anatomy and the bird anatomy, and he would know he has to take away the flight.
Okay, so with what you said, so we're agreeing on all 6 of our battlegrounds that he's about 10 foot in the air, right?
Yes.
Okay, to me, that as much as I think Hawkman would think that's his advantage, like we talked about our Behind the Mask episode with him, Kraven could probably leap that distance, 100
yes.
foot. Or he's going to throw bolas.
That's what I was getting at. I think Hawkman, his first strike is very important.
Yes, it is.
After that,
in this area,
Kraven's going to pluck him out of the air.
Well, here's my thing. They both are very versed with bolas.
Yes.
So, the question is, what is quicker? Hawkman being able to dodge bolas, or will the bolas get to Hawkman before Kraven leaps towards him?
Okay, so Hawkman in the air is very aerial. He's very fast. He can do a lot of maneuvers. But I don't think that they're going to be quick enough to actually get out of the way of some of these boulders because they're throwing at Spider-Man level power.
Well, just like they've got one set of bolas on them.
Yeah.
So to me, with Kraven, it's either the bolas have to hit there, and they don't do any good unless they hit him around the wings.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing: to me, if he throws them, he's got to go for his arms or his wings, and I think Hawkman would see that. And even if he throws them just as a distraction to the leap, Hawkman should be quick enough to react.
Yeah.
The question is can Kraven keep him on the ground? Because Hawkman has a very wide area to maneuver in.
Yeah. So it all comes down to the first swing, which will it hit, will it not hit? I am under an influence. It's not going to connect all the way. I think he's quick enough to hear it and see it, even though he's moving at high speeds, and dodge some of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he can dodge it completely. And then after that, it's I got to get him on the ground. I believe that's what Kraven would think at that point.
Yes, he has to get him on the ground.
So he's smart and he's got a lot of instincts of an animal. I think he would wait for his opportunity to strike the prey with that bola. I don't think he would just run and fling it freely.
So you think patience would come in?
I think patience would come in. And I think that him being I think Hawkman being a warrior and swinging at this guy, he would continue to try to swing at him, and I think he would get caught with the bola at some point. I think it would be his fight until he got caught in the bola. Once it hit I think in the air, he has the advantage, but it's also a disadvantage because Kraven can pinpoint when he needs to throw that bola. If he hits him with the bola and he's able to leap at him and pull him down, this fight completely changes because he is. I'm sorry, DC fans. Kraven is superior in strength to Hawkman based on what we've gathered.
Yeah, he is. But here's the thing: the bolas are not going to do him any good unless he can get his.
That's what I said.
wings.
I think he would wait for that one shot. Now, if he missed it,
I think in this area it would be
hard.
It would be very hard for him to use the bolas.
That's why I think his patience would be key.
I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, Hawkman, I think, would be more than if he needed to sacrifice his mace against the bolas if he needed to when they were thrown at any time. And here's the thing. Hawkman can't stay in the air forever.
No.
In a fight. He's going to have to go. Eventually, like you said, patience. They're going to collide. And the question is Hawkman, is he going to be able to hit Kraven hard enough to knock him unconscious? Because we said fatal blows are not going to kill him. He's been stabbed in the heart by his daughter. Did not kill him.
Yeah. Personally, I think that once the fight takes place, I think Kraven is going to, his instincts and his speed and agility and toughness, even though he can't get knocked out, I don't see him get hit that many times. I mean, maybe when they're in the air, but I think once he gets grounded or gets more in melee range or where he can grab him, I think the fight is Kraven's at that point. And I think any outside area where he can fly, once he finally comes down, is when it evens up. So I think that once he had to fly down and hit him the first time, the second time, eventually he's going to get grabbed. And I think it's going to happen anywhere where he's trying to fly at him where, I don't know. I believe that Kraven has the advantage once he gets close enough to hit him.
Okay, well
that's the problem.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so we had established, and I'd seen this, where at a dive bomb, he can hit about 500 miles. Is Kraven fast enough to react to that?
That's what I'm getting at. Like, what he's going at 500 miles an hour, but did he see him before he dived at him?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, is he going to sit and wait? Because here's the thing: even if he waits, if he dodges, is Hawkman fast enough to even reroute himself? Which does give Kraven an advantage to tackle him.
That's why I think the first hit is also important.
Okay, and then just say he does, and he's more of this capture my guy and bring him down. Okay, Hawkman could still fly in the air with him.
Yeah.
And who says he can't fly high enough to
grab
drop him?
He's strong enough to pin his wings down.
Well, but here's the thing, though. If you're trying to grab his wings, you're not trying to grab his hands. His hands are trying to grab you.
Yeah.
And you're also fighting a guy who's a master at flying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, in that situation,
master of grappling, so you're like,
I know, right? So
this fight on many, the strength wise is Kraven, but on many of the combatant things, they're equal. It's just the strength and endurance is better for him, but he can't fly.
Mm-hmm. So
So I need to think of. Sorry,
no, you're all right.
In the wild or in somebody he's fighting, I'm going over everything in my mind. I'm trying to think the fastest person that would ever jump or fling at Kraven. Who that would be?
Spider-Man.
It'd have to be Spider-Man, and I don't think he's 500 miles an hour.
No, he's not.
He's fast. He's 10 times faster than a human.
Okay.
But the human can only run like 20 miles. 15, 20 miles an hour. The fastest humans.
Yeah, but that's not even all the way though. I mean, you
So
got guys that are running that.
Still, that's 4 times faster. That he's still coming at him 4 times faster than that. So he may not be able to react to that.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I mean, if you see something coming 500 miles per hour, seriously, the thing, Hawkman still has to fly up to get that altitude for that. Even if he's seen it coming, and now that you've said this, and I've kind of played this out, and I know you guys can't see me do this motion, but he's going to bomb him, all right? And then if Kraven tries to bait him in and sidestep, he's going to swoop. And then that's when Kraven goes to jump at him. Now, Hawkman should be fast enough to react to that. Now, just say that's a grapple. He's trying to get the wings. They're grappling with each other, and Hawkman flies straight up. He's going to dive bomb again with Kraven.
Yeah.
Because Kraven has 2 options. Depending on how high he gets up, he's going to have to push off from Kraven. He's going to have to push off to save himself from Hawkman. But if he's too high up, he's going to fall.
Yeah.
That impact should be enough to knock him out.
Yeah.
Do you know what the one thing Hawkman is known for? Like heroically. Sacrificing himself for the greater good. Who's to say that he will not take Kraven up, knowing that this is so close, dive bomb with Kraven into the concrete and take them both out?
That would be interesting.
Because,
you rank him into buildings. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that he could do, but here's the thing. I think, by what you're saying, that he's got this grapple.
I don't know if he gets the grapple, though.
Well, I'm just saying just say he jumps at him. And then I'm just going to the fact that Kraven realizes this guy's flying, I have to take him to the ground.
Yeah.
So he goes to the dive bomb because that just seems like his most effective thing, besides straight up fighting him one-on-one. So he goes for this dive bomb. Kraven baits him in, sidesteps, leaps forward because he should be fast enough. He swoops to reroute himself so he doesn't collide the ground. Hawkman. Kraven jumps on him. There's a grapple. Hawkman's got him by his arms, whatever. He's trying to grab his wings to keep him down. Hawkman flies up. Doesn't matter how high, but high enough that they're past the rooftops. He could dive bomb because here's the thing: Kraven is going to have to leap away from him.
Yeah.
Depending on how high he gets up, where's Kraven going to land? The fall is still going to be a lot to hurt him. And if we're thinking that, under the understanding that enough impact will knock Kraven out, depending on how high he gets up, if he cannot push off hard enough, because you got to think, Hawkman is not a solid surface, so you don't get to push off as hard as what you would want to off of a building.
Yeah,
that's a free fall for him. Hawkman might get pushed away, but he's quick enough to readjust himself to catch himself, so he won't fall. So Kraven would either have to take the chance of going down with him or landing on something enough that it doesn't knock him out.
So okay, so we've established it comes down to he can sacrifice himself if the grapple happens. If the grapple don't happen, then he could probably knock him out with the speed of the mace. If the grapple does happen, he's going to figure out what to do. But then we come to the other conclusion with his sight and his speed. But this thing's coming in at 500 miles an hour. Is he good enough to see that there's a harness attaching those wings? That is the next question, which I don't think he is.
It depends on the Hawkman you're talking about, because the wings are also sometimes part of him.
Yeah, I think with the speed he's coming at,
I don't think he would think about that.
I don't think he would think about it.
I would think that Kraven being used to fight... Okay, Kraven knows the Vulture.
Yeah.
He knows the Vulture, his wings, are part of his suit.
Yeah.
He's going to see feathered wings and think angel.
Yeah.
Those are part of his body. I don't think he will
That's
never
my
think
next
of the
list. I don't think he could see it, and I don't know if he'd process it quick enough. So going through all the data, I'm going through the likeliness of what would happen if he flew at him 5 times. I think he would hit Kraven 4 times. Kraven wouldn't take all of the damage, but he would take enough to rock him unconscious probably 4 out of 5 times at 500 miles an hour. Because I don't think he would roll out of it because it's too fast.
But to me, here's the thing: if Kraven is willing to take that hit, is he smart enough? Because think about it.
Well, go ahead.
Lion is charging Kraven.
Thing, but...
Lion's charging Kraven. he leaps. Kraven's not going to just grab him. Kraven's going to grab him to slam him.
Yeah.
So if
And he would know how to use the momentum of something else.
yes, and which could knock Hawkman out.
It would knock him out completely.
So
But I'm thinking that 500 miles an hour is quicker than 60 miles an hour.
far quicker.
So
by
I'm thinking
about
1 out of 5, maybe
10
2
times.
out of 5 times, he probably can direct that into Hawkman instead of himself, which still gives Hawkman the edge on the dive bomb. And then you go into the grapple step. If he did not do that and he was able to grapple him, I honestly think that Hawkman would dive bomb and sacrifice himself almost at all those costs. If he knew that how strong he was holding on to him, he couldn't combat him, he would take him out.
okay.
So you're thinking take him out. Well, he could jump off, he could land on a building, or he could start stabbing him, which that is a big time thing. He's got a blade on him, and he knows all the juggler, and he knows the nerve points. At that point, he might rattle him before he got up in the air.
Oh.
Too high.
Well, like I said though, but they're still struggling.
Yeah. So
So
I'm thinking the struggle, the speed of it, and how quick and he's looking at him to hit him with all these nerve hits. Plus, he's got a blade.
Mhm.
I think if he got up in the air, he's dive bombing down. And if he don't get up in the air, it's because he got nerve punched or he got stabbed 6-7 times before he can do it. So really, I'm thinking the dive bomb's the most important part, and this is not important, but it is important. So Hawkman, I think on both of those, he would have the advantage coming down. But once he's down here, I think Kraven would have the advantage until he went back up.
So it's almost Kraven's move is what I think we're getting at that changes things. Because if Kraven takes the momentum and slams him, but that's the thing, is he strong enough to catch something dive bombing him at 500 miles per hour?
I don't think he can catch it, but he can deflect it into the ground.
But the thing is he strong enough?
Yeah.
Because you got to think, when you're in free fall, you pick up speed,
Yeah.
you pick up momentum, you technically become stronger.
Yep.
So the question is, even if he's a strong Spider-Man, does he still have enough strength to take him to the ground? Because you got to think, he could try to grab him and it would still collide into him. So
this speed, I don't think so. Going through all my data, man, this is taking a while to figure out this, but I feel going through all my data in the city.
To me, it always seems like the city street thing is the tough
It is. And the dive bomb, there's people around, but if he knows Kraven's there and he dives at him, I'm putting this at I think I would pick Hawkman in the city street.
I'm agreeing too. I
and
think
it's just because of the speed that he would come at
in the open area.
In the open area.
Yes, I agree.
Once they get together, different story. But I think the speed and all that is so big in the open city streets. So
I agree.
Hawkman, it is.
Hawkman, I will agree Hawkman with that. I mean, man, but that's just really close.
17 minutes to figure out.
Because if Hawkman dive bombs him,
Yeah.
and if Kraven sidesteps it, he's going to be fast enough to reroute himself.
Yep.
But if Kraven slams him, you don't know if Kraven's going to have enough strength to turn the momentum against him to knock him out, or if Kraven is going to not be strong enough and it just collides, which could technically knock them both out.
Yeah.
Or what if that's when Kraven uses the bolas?
Could be.
Because that would throw him off.
It's just so quick, it's coming at
Because
you.
think about it, when you dive bomb, you're tucked in. Your wings are tucked in. Have you ever seen a bird dive bomb? Their wings are tucked in their side, they just dive. Perfect time to throw bolas.
Yeah, he's just moving so quick, or you can just run into the building.
So, but I think...
But this is open street, you ain't running into the building yet.
I think there is a lot, that's a very thin pick for Hawkman for me.
Yeah. I think it's thin for me too. I think he still has the advantage, but it's thin.
To me, it's like a 60-40 there.
'Cause
Or I would say it's like
I'm thinking close.
like a 49-51 there.
It's close to even.
Yeah.
It's close to even, but I give him the slight advantage.
I'm going to say that it's a draw.
I'm still going to go with slight advantage Hawkman.
Because just the whole dive bomb aspect of it, there's so much that could happen to benefit both of them. Like I said, he dives bombs. Kraven just right at the right moment boas him and sidesteps him. Boom, he knocks himself out. Or he dive bombs Kraven, hits Kraven, knocks him out. Kraven goes a sidestep, he swoops up, there's a grapple, he jumps at him, they grapple, they go in the air.
Yeah.
Either Kraven is going to have to jump away from him before he gets too high, or they can get high enough that Hawkman would probably sacrifice himself.
Yep.
And just like, I'm dive bombing with you, you better get away. Because then if he even tries to get away, he's still in free fall. And to me, that's a huge advantage for Hawkman.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot that kind of plays in. I'm going to stick with a draw on that for me.
I'm going Hawkman, slight advantage.
All right. Now, fresh battle. City alleys. What do you got?
In a city alley, you're taking away the element of a lot of aerial flies that for up and down, and that means that he don't have that much of an escape route. Kraven, being Kraven the Hunter, would know that. He'd probably back up into one of the alley walls or somewhere where he could not dive bomb him. When he's coming at him, he would have to make a choice. I think this is where he would not be able to go as quick at him. They're limited space. They start 100 feet away. That's another thing.
And the alley's about 20 feet wide.
And there's no way that he's going to be able to get a dive bomb off. So he's probably going to sprint forward, not knowing what Kraven is or what Kraven is. Kraven's probably going to think he's an angler with a mace. And once they ensue into combat, that becomes a grounded combat. And that is where I think Kraven will beat Hawkman's ass 80% of the time in a grounded combat.
I don't even think it goes. I don't. At first, I don't even think it becomes grounded. I think because, like you said, there's not a lot of aerial space for Hawkman to maneuver. For one, okay.
I think it really hurts him.
It does because to me, okay, he can't. There's not enough room for him to gain any speed, and even if he goes up to try this dive bomb thing. Kraven, to me, in such a closed area, is quick enough to jump up the walls at him and take him down.
He's like a tiger.
And even to slow his ascent up, Kraven can throw that spear. He can throw them bolas. He can throw that hunting knife.
Plus, he's used to fighting Spider-Man
in a closed area. Yes, who is far faster than what Hawkman can probably fly up.
Yep.
And to me, I mean, it's a very hard advantage. It keeps Hawkman very grounded. It keeps him in a smaller space, and to me, that is to Kraven's advantage.
I picked Kraven pretty strong on that.
I do too. Man, that street one, oh boy. Maybe we should always just save that one for last.
Well, it's just big because there's people involved. There's a lot of things involved.
Well, it's
outside.
And that's one of the things we do about this. That's why we always put them in different stages of fights because that changes the outcome instead of just two guys fighting.
Yep.
It makes it more of an interesting conversation. All right, next up, city rooftop. I kind of got a feeling how this is going to go.
Man, in a city rooftop, there's a lot of air up there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things to fly around. I think it's going to go back to where we was earlier, but even a little bit more of an advantage for Hawkman.
Yeah, because Kraven doesn't have a lot of places to run.
I think Hawkman has the advantage up here.
I do too.
Outside, he has the flight advantage. Up top, he has a great advantage.
Because to me, if Hawkman could even toss him off building, the fight's over. They're no longer on a rooftop.
But
they're no longer in the air.
He's able to grab a hold of him and sustain him to the ground, but that's going to be hard up top.
Yeah. To me, I mean, there's a lot. Because here's the thing. Okay, say Hawkman is flying around and Kraven throws a spear. That this time, it is perfect opportunity. He throws a spear, he throws a hunting knife, he throws a bola. Man, Hawkman just snatches those.
Yeah.
Or even if he dive bombs them, he just flies out there and grabs them. And then he's got all these weapons.
Yep.
So, and who's to say that? I mean, and Kraven's probably fast enough to dodge them, but just say Hawkman's flying at him, throwing bolas, throws the other bolas, and it's just all this stuff to keep him off balance. And next thing you know, Kraven lands, he looks up, bam, he gets hit by Hawkman. Big old mace sends him flying.
Yep.
Or he could just, I mean, anything to knock him off the building. Because Hawkman, just say that the roof of this building is, a good 80 by 80. I mean, he is strong enough to hit him, to launch him off the building. So, yeah, to me, much like the alleyway was strong Kraven, this is strong Hawkman.
Yep.
This is going to go back and forth. The sewers.
Kraven. These are easy ones now since we've determined where they're at.
Well, you would think Kraven, but here's the thing. Hawkman, does not jump the gun on this because this just dawned upon me. This is where it becomes a hand-to-hand fight. Kraven, I would say, is the stronger and the faster of the two.
He knows the body well, too.
Yes, but I would think Hawkman is the better fighter. Hawkman also has extra appendages because he can use his wings.
Yes.
He can use his, I mean, right now this is a fight where Hawkman wouldn't care about sacrificing a wing. Like Kraven's like going to stab at him and he just uses the wing to shield himself. And he would take that damage here.
He does have extra advantages, but I think based on what we've dictated the speed and strength are, he's twice as strong and twice as fast, but he's not as good in all the different training. But I think speed and power and fighting Spider-Man all the time and dodging his blows and taking his blows would be slow motion towards him.
Okay, from your distance, we're sitting here, and I know you guys can't see me. How far do you think there's a distance between me and you?
I don't know, just 5 foot. Maybe?
5 foot. I stuck my fist out.
Yeah.
My arm's all the way stretched out. How far do you think my fist is from your face?
2 foot.
You think that's 2 foot? All right. Now, say you're Kraven and I'm Hawkman. You're running at me.
Oh yeah.
And you're judging me. You know, okay, that's his
his
fist,
with a wing.
And then you get hit with a wing.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it. So I mean, that's enough to throw you off guard to give a guy a fast advantage.
Then you got to think you hit with the wings, and then he's thinking goes back to the wild look. How do you try to take the wings down?
To me, this is where Kraven's poisonous blood comes into effect.
It would actually, because he would slice him
because
open.
he has nowhere to run.
This is closer than what I thought, but I still think Kraven can win down here. But I don't think it's close. I mean, I don't think it's like a beatdown. I think this might be another 55-45 in the sewer based on some of the things you're saying.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, because
speed, agility, fighting animals, his own fighting style that Hawkman's never seen, but these wings, the reach, the extra competitiveness, the double mace. I still think Kraven would out. It's close, but he would out him.
And to me, Hawkman has to go for the knockout.
Yeah.
Here. He cannot. Fatal blows are not going to stop.
And I don't think he's going to be able to hit him with a knockout with a wing. It has to be with a mace.
Yeah, it had to be the mace or his fist because there's no claw force.
And I think if he's bleeding and he strikes him with a blood dagger, he will slow down drastically.
Because to me, I mean, even though the nth metal would fight off poisons and whatnot, if Kraven's blood could affect the Venom symbiote, surely it has to affect him. So, yeah, I agree. Kraven does win here.
Yeah.
And, boy, I mean, we make these matchups, and it kind of does. Some of these do seem tailored to each one of them, and it's not meant to be like that. But, I mean, it does, and especially as we move on to the next one, the jungle. Who's going to win there?
You know what? It sounds Kraveneth. Until you think there's a lot of birds in the jungle that can use the trees in the cover to spin around and fly and sense, and this turns into a condensed version of outside where Kraven can hide really good, but he can see really good. So I don't think a dive bomb is actually going to happen in this jungle.
Well, here's the thing. Hawkman would not fly here. Because if you've got a thick canopy...
Well, he's a bigger bird. He ain't like a small bird.
He's got I guarantee his wingspan's a good 8-10 feet.
So even though once he gets down here, I don't think his flying is going to take effect.
And to me, here is where you don't...
Going around trees and stuff's different, but once you got a pinpoint, he's going to run for the tough jungle depth. That's exactly where Kraven's going to go. And he's going to have to go there to fight him. Yeah. At that point, you're in Kraven's element.
And to me, and to me, this is where you don't fight Kraven the fighter or the brawler, or the guy that's willing to fight you for honor. You're fighting Kraven the hunter.
Yeah.
And
I believe in this atmosphere, it's kind of equal until you get into the actual grounded combat in the jungle, and then he's in his element at that point.
I think it is too. So to me, I think this is where Hawkman has to... which Hawkman can glide here.
Yeah.
Which does help it, but he has to stay on Kraven. He cannot let Kraven break away and gain an advantage of stealth to ambush him here. He can't, and I think that's very hard for Kraven to do.
Yeah, it's definitely Kraven's.
Because Kraven's going to manipulate the environment to his advantage.
This is Kraven's fight.
I think this is easily Kraven's fight. Now, the open area. Nothing in the way. Completely open, flat land.
I think we go back to the first official thing where you was a draw.
Yes.
And I am with a slight advantage Hawkman.
So.
Because it might even be more of an advantage because there ain't nobody around.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people. Which, to me, really wouldn't play a whole effect to the first fight. Kraven wouldn't, I don't think.
He wouldn't use people like I was saying.
Yeah.
I think Hawkman would have the advantage in a wide open area where you can fly freely.
Well, see, to me, I know I agreed that it was a draw here, but here's the difference between open area. I mean, Kraven doesn't have buildings around.
Yeah.
So Kraven has nothing to say it's the same scenario where
you don't have nowhere to run and hide behind or use.
Well, he doesn't have anything to
open.
If Hawkman was to fly up and he was to push off, he has nowhere safe to land.
Yeah.
So say Hawkman goes 1,000 feet in the air, quarter mile in the air. If he pushes off, he has nowhere safe.
Yeah.
And then when he's in free fall, it's all Hawkman.
Yep.
So yeah, this is where I agree that Hawkman has a hugely, much like the rooftop,
Yeah.
distinct advantage because Kraven has nowhere to run, nothing to use to his advantage. Man, this wound up being a lot more closer than what I thought it would be. Now to run them down, you went in the city streets. I thought that was more of a draw due to the fact that Kraven, like I said, just from the open air, Kraven has a lot more places to land.
And I give Hawkman a slight advantage.
Yes, and it is. It's a tight fight there, and you have Hawkman. And then we'll pretty much agree on the rest of them. City Alley, Kraven. Rooftop, Hawkman. Jungle open area. Jungle sewers, my bad. Kraven, and then the open area goes to Hawkman. So, you, sir, are at a draw. I have Kraven winning by 1.
But as a team, Kraven has won.
He has won by 1. Because that draw where I just could not determine who would come out right there.
In theory, we picked all our matchups, we went through them, but overall...
And we don't talk about them beforehand. We don't talk about them at all.
Overall, going through everything and going through all of our matchups, if I had to pick a winner, even though I'm drawing there, it would depend on outside, inside. So that's where it would come to a draw still, but your 1 point would swing it. And I agree that Kraven is a little bit edging the Hawkman in this combat.
Well, and that's why we do these in specific areas because, and sure, in a one-on-one fight, it's an open area.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing equally.
Yeah.
But in comics, it's never like that. In cartoons or movies, it's never like that.
Yep.
Guys just don't meet up and they're not samurai.
Yeah.
You fight me here.
Yep.
We battle to the death. It's never like that. So the distinct and literally a 51-49 victory is Kraven the Hunter.
Yep.
If you like the rest of our crossover legends, please go watch the rest of those. To get an understanding of these characters and characters in previous episodes, go watch Behind the Mask. Before the Villains Man, I'm JVD.
It was great.
Keep reading, guys.